That is correct. Absolutely 100%.
That's fantastic. Who's going to be in it?
I'm just going to unpack.
Well, we just waited for them to arrive.
I hear RDA's coming, so I was... Where's the best place to sit? Here?
How come we have to face the audience?
I don't know. I'm just going to... You don't mind me, I'm just going to unpack.
Yeah. Hi folks, how are you?
Nice to meet you, Dennis. How are you?
Oh, I'm in trouble now. You do the other half, Dave. Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and give a very, very warm welcome to James Hewlett and Nykll.
Hello, Kia ora.
Oh, roll your eyes, Baker. Roll your eyes. We usually start nattering, then someone goes up to the question. How's that?
We start nattering, is that what
that's it. And natter.
So tired.
Laughing clowns.
We were just like freaking out about these wonderful little pieces that are being made for us and learning all about this stuff. So
By Dane.
yeah, what was that?
It's by Dane.
It's Dane. It's Dane.
Dane,
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Well, amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, it was great. We had a photo with him.
Yeah, there's something quite sort of fun and nerdy about them. Even though I know they're like, you know, ancient things. There's something very sort of, I can't wait to show it off to my son. It's like, you know, look, I powered up.
It's a little bit of Momoa.
That's it.
That's what it is.
Although I keep forgetting to stick my tongue out because I was actually raised that was rude. But
Yeah, it's like a fearsome warrior sort of a thing, isn't it?
yeah. My kid is enthralled by while we're here, he keeps seeing the little promos for the All Blacks playing, and he's always just like, I want to play rugby, Dad. See, I can't do it. I'm not good at that. I drool when I do it too.
I just saw a clip on the internet of Jason Momoa's audition for Game of Thrones, and he did the haka.
That's right. Well, he based it entirely on. Yeah. Because they gave him.
He didn't do the lines that he's supposed to.
We're living vicariously.
I'm just gonna do this.
I love that we do our panel and it's about what we saw on Jason on the internet.
Well, no, we're talking about the haka, right? It's just like, you know, go to an audition and go, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna do this.
But only Jason would get. If I did that, of course. First off, I'd throw my back out. Sorry, I destroyed it. Culture and an audition. Yeah. Now, do we have any questions or anything? Yeah, very good.
Yeah, questions.
Yeah.
Welcome to Portuguese for Beginners.
See? I can't wait for the universal translator myself. That Google thing is the coolest thing on the planet.
Yeah, except for it doesn't translate properly.
Doesn't matter. I think it's translated, and that's all that matters.
I have 5 hamburger, please.
Yes, exactly. That's right. Someone loves my quiche.
That's not what.
Sorry, but I think you had a question though.
What was the favorite? Well, what was your most favorite episode to film together?
The ones that he wasn't in.
Just set them up and what was
I always come back to the first one.
Yeah, but I don't even remember. That's the storm, right? That was the one.
That was when you were like a panicked little child. I was. This could work. This could become a regular.
Yeah. Well, everyone was like that. Yeah. I think. Well, I don't know. What I always thought is that they had too much tech talk for Dave to handle, so they brought me in to sort of, you know, to sort of.
You know, spread it out. There was too
add a
much
little bit of charm and beauty.
Is that really what they did? Did they? There was like he couldn't.
That's what Brad told me.
Really? How flattering. Yeah, you're back.
Not the part that you couldn't handle it, but the fact that it was just better to have tech talk sort of split between 2 people to have it.
Well, it's because I kept going off world. Originally, I was going to be just in like
That's what I ended up being, a stay-at-home guy.
Yeah, you got the easy job.
Yeah, I got to like worry over a laptop.
Well, that's just an easy job. Because it sounds like an easy job because you get to stay at home and just like sit there and look at things. But originally that was the idea, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Here, take this gun." I'm like, "What?" It's like it's P90. I was like, "Everyone else got lessons." They're like, "Yeah, you're supposed to suck at it." Like everyone else is like off of the range doing stuff, and they're just like, "Here, go." There's blanks in it.
And meanwhile, I was back in the control room saving the universe. Spacebar, 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 spacebar. Andrew, that's how you save the universe, by the way.
Waiting for and acting to the Flash animation.
Yeah.
So you have to sort of go and you'd be like, oh my god, it's
waiting to boot. It's Windows 98.
there are
They come.
3, 4, 5, no, 17 wraith ships.
Can't see it yet.
Little guy in the back going. Yeah. So yeah, favorite.
Did we answer the question?
No, I don't know. What we're talking about. Who are we here?
Favorite episode.
Together.
I know.
I quite liked you screwing up on duet.
Well, hey, why don't you name?
Remember that the back and forth with the spark going off and all that.
Oh yeah. That was the only time I was off world.
Is that it?
That was the only time I went to Langley.
Yeah, and I ended up in a freaking computer.
Yeah, and then transported into someone else's body, right?
Yeah.
A woman's. That's how he did it, right? Yeah. That's Dave Hewlett's version of a woman.
Just yeah.
I don't know about that.
Less, more female. Really? I leave the female to Beckett.
I don't know. There were so many of those scenes. I don't remember. The stuff in the puddle jumpers.
I hated the puddle
I know. It
jumper.
was like filming in a Toyota.
You think this is warm? It's like, try putting, and then they put little lights in it, and they're like, oh, you can fly out these walls, and they never
It
flew out
was
the walls,
horrible.
ever. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and there'd be like some, and you can't hear, they have
And
the
then
glass.
there's a camera crew in there.
Yeah.
There's a sound guy.
For some reason, when they hire sound guys, boom guys, to hold the boom, which does all the miking for the thing, they always hire like the tallest people
Big guys
on the planet. And so there's like some guy like folded up in a glove box, like with a boom, and he's literally like 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
It was like that scene in What We Do in the Shadows, which I always get the name wrong.
What was our sound guy? Remember that guy? What was his name?
Sound guy, dude. There's I did a lot of dude. Totally forgot his name.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Eli.
Eli. Good for you. Nicely done.
See the Sudoku, it's working.
10 years later,
Holding off the amnesia. And,
he went on to Sanctuary, I think. That's not what
He did, yes, he did. So now that we've spent 15 minutes on that first question, thank you very much. Cheers.
Yeah.
Another question?
They were all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your hand came up first, I think. Yeah.
Do we get to pick the questions? Oh, sorry.
Do we get to pick the questions?
Yeah.
The guys, he's just like, let them go.
What was it like reading with his sister?
It's always interesting. The best directing we got from that was from Martin Wood, who took us aside and said, okay guys, remember, you're related. Yeah, and Kate and I are like, what? Like, no, we know that. And he said, well, it doesn't, it's not really reading. I was like, yeah, because we're related. You don't like who you relate, you never get along.
You don't want to work with your sister.
Constantly. It's the entire, he's like, well, I just don't think all the lines are written like you're an idiot at the end of it. I was like, no, it's implied. It's like the fact of being related, everything's like, you ready for dinner? Idiot. Basically, it's an implied idiot. So, but Kate and I actually talked about it, and we were just saying like, no, we want to take the dynamic that we have in real life and, bring it into this sort of franchise because
Does she still go out to do conventions, Kate?
She does sometimes, yeah. She tries to get the exotic ones.
Like Toronto.
Yeah, I'll get these like last minute emails like, hi. I'm like, oh, I haven't heard from you in 6 months. There must be a convention going on. What about the McKays? You call me once in a while.
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years, that's it.
Just like a regular system.
Well, that's the weird thing about being back in Toronto is it's like, we're in Toronto right now, and she's in Toronto, I guess.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. I like Toronto.
Yeah, okay.
Except for winter.
Yeah, which
Minus
is
40.
Which is like October till September.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
it's true. You're right. Forget it. No, it's fun because with the part, originally, there was a line in the script that said, your brother, your estranged brother type thing. And I was like, the last thing we need on this show is having me to have more competition. So I didn't want someone showing up as an actor showing up as my brother. And
you want a brother for you?
Well, originally he was a brother.
Oh,
so naturally, in my self-preservation mode, I'm like, well, what if he's a woman? I'm not saying you have to hire my sister, but I have sisters, and maybe that'd be easier for me to find in the scene.
And then Martin has to say, could you find it in this scene?
I just had this fear that Benedict Cumberbatch was going to show up as my brother, and I'd be like, I'm out of job. So it's entirely self-preservation, and then we got cake. So yeah.
You get to pick.
You get to pick now.
Okay, how about you?
I have a question for you.
Okay, how about that?
Okay, someone else.
Sure. I've noticed you've just shaved your beard, so does that mean there's no chance of you in any more episodes of Arrow? Has your storyline been tied up? Because it never actually says how he
Before you start reading into that, I have to shave for...
I've only seen 2
We've
episodes.
only seen 2 weeks here.
What?
Only 2 episodes have been seen here in New Zealand.
Oh.
Of the newest
Oh,
season.
don't screw it up.
I'm not gonna spoil anything except for the fact that I have to shave before Arrow anyways because it's a fake beard that they put on me.
You have to shave to put on that beard?
Yeah. I call it Brian.
That is gotta be the most uncomfortable thing.
It is the most uncomfortable thing. And they have this, it used to be spirit gum, but they have this new medical grade glue that they use to put it on, they dab it on. It really is the most uncomfortable thing. About Arrow, I don't know, and about the shaving, that was for another audition that I had just had to do. Okay?
You look nice, both clean shaven and lovely beard.
Right?
Whatever.
Right? I think so too, right?
You may want to check your glasses prescription.
You can ask another question if you...
Does someone else have a question?
Yes, I
Oh,
know.
right, yeah, there you go.
Good.
He was trying before.
I shaved because of...
What is some of the funniest after-scene stuff that happened on Atlantis?
The funniest
After
scenes. The after scenes. You know, it sounds like a medical condition. You gonna get those after scenes looked at? Because that is really unpleasant. Well, I told.
After is going to the trailer and sleeping.
It's very true. But yeah,
Yes, it's
unless you're me beside Jason's trailer. So we're like what? We're at, like season 2. Was it? When did he show up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So season 2, it's like, you know, there's the trailers, and you know, so season 1, I've established my domain, you know, set up.
That's why it stank in there.
And then I roll in for season 2, and it's like. As Jason's trying to do his setting up his motorcycle and then his skateboards and every so often I just come out and I'm just like, oh, sorry, dude. I think I eventually moved because this fun and the smoking. I was like, who's smoking out here? Ah, jeez, the big guy.
Oh man, that was like a movie in itself. These two.
You were like the odd couple. We talked about doing
Because it's
the
one
Odd
caravan split in two. It's like a duplex, right? One half was McKay, the other half was.
Boom. Trying to learn line. Jason!
Tori was my roommate. She was meditating. Great place to sleep while you were doing your.
Mine was the worst. Cause it's just they're like, well, it's easier. We brought in Jason's whatever that thing was. That space shuttle they brought in for him.
Oh, the
Airstream. This giant Airstream sort of rolls in.
Yeah, and then he had the pink Cadillac too.
And then he like set up camp.
Why do we keep talking about Momoa?
I'm sorry. He's dreaming. Yeah, so basically all after scenes relate to Jason.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
What was the funniest after scene?
I always liked, I liked the way McGillian always had a backpack on, and at any opportunity to put stuff in it, they were like, every time he put it down, they'd break for a scene, he'd come back, he'd put it on, it's like, oh, it feels heavier. And eventually, but he's kind of stoic, like I would have complained right away. Like, you know,
Yes,
they should be made out of styrofoam. And why are we in nature? And
he would just carry it.
McGillian would just carry it. I mean, by you know, take 50 or however long it took to Joe to get the line right. I'm kidding. They would add more stones, and eventually, you know, basically you couldn't pick it up.
And
like,
eventually,
what's wrong, buddy? You get tired?
And then exploding tumor.
No one had fun with me because I was no fun. I was just like all about learning all of those bloody lines. The two of us, we don't have time to.
No. Well, I mean, sometimes we run lines, but
occasionally.
Yeah.
That's about it. But it was fun. I mean, it was fun. He had more work to do than I did, so I got to walk around. Over there.
Did you score any sort of mementos? Like Paul said he got one of his early season one.
Did we score any mementos? Are you calling us thieves?
Paul was given one of his early first season uniforms.
He was. Because no one wants it after he's been wearing it. What are they going to do with it? They have to burn them, basically. So,
did we?
How did I tell?
I used to forget that I had those ear things on, so I used to wear those things home all the time. Ride my bicycle home with one of those things. I'll be home in a moment, my honey.
I kept taking the watch. But we talked about this before as well. The watches were terrible watches.
The watches didn't
They're
work.
like these big, cool, tough, like you know, waterproof to minus whatever the hell. It
What
was.
time is it in Atlanta?
Yeah, and then it was always full of water because I had a shower.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You can go diving with this, but I'm in the shower. Like, what do I do in the shower?
Good
That
product
somehow
placement.
destroys the.
When we were canceled, I kept my little seat back, the one with the name on it.
Yeah, you got yours. They sold mine.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I took it. And Tristan came up to me afterwards and said, "No, we're gonna need that maybe for the movie." And I said, "You're not gonna make a movie." He's good.
No, I felt that. I was like, yeah, keep it for the movie. I'm hoping to thin down for it, so I'll probably need a smaller one. The chairs keep breaking. What is it?
I got to keep my blue shirt, the one blue shirt I wore in 5 years at Atlanta. So
I don't think I've got anything.
Did you have them? They sold everything.
Yeah.
I got an email a couple months after that auction saying, "I've got your glasses."
Yeah, that's what I would get all these like, hey, here's your ZPM. I'm like, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, man. It's in Minnesota now.
But it's good. You got, chances are the fans would probably do more with them than we would. Like, can you just use that ZPM prop open that door, thanks, Steve?
Yeah. They're all made out of plastic.
Yeah, but the props were, to be fair, I've never seen anything like it since. Like how complicated and beautifully made those things. Like the ZPMs were truly a work of art. They were incredibly complex and sometimes worked.
I mean, they're plastic.
Yeah, but they were chunky.
But I mean, those set pieces that we had behind us, the styrofoam.
Half empty, half full.
That's not the way it usually is. It's those, did you see, you've changed. I just shaved, that's all. The those styrofoam things with the bubbling fish tanks in them?
The set.
The set. I thought that was pretty cheesy. I mean, we're in Atlantis, and it was like these styrofoam blocks that you take when you buy a monitor, those kind of weird shaped, spray painted brown, and a fish tank was put into that, and that was our set.
Well, because they just switched to HD, and they hadn't quite worked out that,
you can see that.
Exactly. That it says Honda on the side.
That's product.
100,000-year-old Honda styrofoam.
Yeah. So I mean, our set, the actual gate room itself was pretty cool. And when the gate came down, that area doubled as the cantina. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, you knew that. Yeah.
Wasn't that? It's not really that hard to figure out.
Okay, really?
There's like a circle in the floor where they put the.
Yeah. I just thought I'd give our Kiwi friends something to.
And here's a little tidbit.
I bet you're gonna go home and say, and you know what David said today? He said that the gate closed down.
There you go. And they'll talk like that, will they? Wow, how to alienate a room.
Right there. Yes.
Sorry, somebody else.
I like that. You want to talk to me? You had your hand waving in the air. It's like, oh, me?
Sorry if somebody else asked, but what's the most tech you ever took and why?
Why? Because we had to. Because
What's the most what?
The most tech we had to talk.
Oh.
Oh, how many takes?
Oh, takes, see?
Okay, maybe.
I liked your tech question. That's very, very intelligent.
How many takes?
I did a lot of takes. A lot of takes. And then between those takes, a lot of swearing. Yeah.
Sometimes it was hard to get it. Yeah, I don't know, 15, 16, sometimes up to 20.
Yeah. It
depends on the
we
scene.
shot so quickly that for the most part, it's like 1 or 2 takes. And then every so often there'd be just this impenetrable, I said sometimes there was impenetrable technobabble, which Brad Wright would refer to as gold. So is
that what he called it?
It's gold. It's gold. I'm giving you gold. It's true though. It's Jason says. I mean, you think it's hard to say all those lines. How much harder it is for me to have to listen to them. Basically, it's Jason's perspective on it.
We're talking about him again.
Oh, Jason! like he's here. It's like he's. We don't miss our fellow cast members at all.
No.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. I'm not finished.
Ah, Jesus. His mic's still on, huh?
It depends on the type of shot. Some shots, we did up to 8 pages a day, which is, if you take a minute per page.
Amateur. Well, it's a lot. It's 12.
Did you?
Do 12 pages.
Oh, okay.
Get it working my fingers to the bone.
But it's a lot. I mean, if you consider that each page is a minute, that's, you know, for TV. So oftentimes they would just bang it off 1 take, 2 takes. It depends on the kind of, like, if it's a complicated shot, if there's a crane involved, if there's a jib involved.
How many actors are involved?
Actors are involved, and how many actors have changed their patches on their shoulders.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ask him about that question.
I blame Joe.
Ask him about that question. Go ahead, someone put your hand up and go ask about the question patches. Yes?
What's this about the patch?
I wonder, Dave, what is
It was
about
like
the patches?
one time. Like, I don't goof around. It's all about, I'm all work all the time.
Oh,
all the
yeah.
time. Yes, true professional. And Joe, who had this thing, being the American, would walk up and grab my Canadian flag and just go, shh, and walk off. And so one day I was like, shh, when he pulled it off mine, and I put it on me, and I was like, and then forgot. And we shoot this huge, long, complicated scene.
A massive, massive crane shot scene.
And then the poor wardrobe guy, I thought he was going to die.
Barry was like,
why?
Production stopped. Joe Malazzi came down.
Oh yeah.
There was a major, major blue about it. $30,000.
That's what they said. Sure.
Because suddenly the Canadians got the American flag and the Americans got the Canadian flag. Yeah.
I thought it'd be one of those fun DVD commentary things. Like the Snickers bar. Remember that?
No.
Oh yeah. I open up the dusty 100,000-year-old, there's a Snickers bar and a bottle of water over there. Which I love, and I love you for this. Somebody goes, well, probably McKay was in there earlier and had a snack. I get blamed for that too. I get blamed because set deck was like, you know, kicking back in the
we had to be careful. I mean, there was emails that were coming in for those crystals that we had. Someone had noticed that one of them was in upside down, and we got emails about that. So people were really quite particular about it.
And sometimes not.
And sometimes when there's a Snickers bar.
Yeah, whatever. Just, you keep going.
Yeah.
But there's a tour bus over there waving at us.
It's okay. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah. Any more questions? I think there might be.
You get to choose it.
I do? Oh, wait, she's got a camera. I'm going with her.
I was just wondering if either of you had any interesting fan experiences you'd love to share.
Fan experiences. In alphabetical order or in order of importance?
I love my son said to me, we were on a plane a while back, and for some reason a lot of flight attendants watch Stargate. And so them and border guards. It's this weird thing.
Border guards.
So I meet a lot of flight attendants, I meet a lot of border guards, and immigration people.
Yeah.
I went in for, okay,
Okay, go ahead.
I got it. So I go in to get my American citizenship. So I've got the green card, you go in, you do this final little thing, and then you get a passport, and then you can then leave America. Because with the green card, you have to stay, you know, so anyway, so we get this, so I go in for the thing, they call everybody by first name, by last name, and then the guy comes up to me and they go, David? There's got to be more than one date, but it's like 50 people. And I'm like, yeah, he's like, yeah. Takes me in, does the entire thing, completely straight face, does the entire test, and I, of course, naturally do very well on it. And then he goes, and I've got 3 McKay bonus questions for you. No way. Literally, I get them all wrong. Every single one of them wrong. And it turns out he was like a Stargate fan. I was like, do we really need to do the exam then? I mean, you know.
Do you remember what the questions were?
No, no, one of them was about, it was like, George, what does the W in George W. Bush stand for? I was like, does anyone care?
Walker.
Was it Walker?
Yeah.
So yeah, I still get it wrong. I get by on my good looks and charm.
That's funny. Looks on buses, men's washrooms. Those
Looks on buses and men's washrooms.
Yeah, that's
oh, sorry, I forgot the question. Yes.
He's answered that all. That's all that matters, right? Yeah. That's kind of the.
Jewel State says it's the eye contact. It's that kind of no eye contact. She'd get into an elevator and she just won't look because once you lock, it's like, oh, there you go. There's no recognition. Hey, cover the floor. What floor number are you going to? Yeah. Another question? Yes. You've already had one.
I know, I'm
So unfair.
Did you guys get any input as to how your characters develop?
Are you kidding? We're actors.
The last thing you want to do is ask an actor for advice on what they want to do with their character.
Yes, or input.
Yeah. We would all look like Jason.
You get the script and you find out what your character is doing. Really, sometimes pigeons. You know, like where did that come from?
I had a cat. No one asked if I was allergic to cats, which I am. They're like, here. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, they're like, oh, you look so broke up about your cat. No, I'm having an allergic reaction. But it's so cute the way people literally say like, oh, it was so cute the way you were sad about your cat. Like, I'm literally going like, you know, where's my neighbor? Tears running down my face. Well, we thought it'd be cute, but can you do another take? I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. Feel throat.
Some actors pick up the phone right away and go, complain about what's going on. But I kind of feel like it's your job to sort of do what's written. They created the character. They sort of have an idea about what's going on. I mean, you're fleshing it out, but as bits and pieces come together.
That was fleshing it out, not flushing it out.
It depends on the performance. So that's kind of the thing, especially with serialized television. I mean, you get the script and you're filming tomorrow. There's no time for rewrites because every rewrite is a different color iteration, and then you end up getting these rainbow-colored scripts with all these different things because the word "and" has been changed and "or" has been changed.
It's funny though. There is that fine line. I always felt that when I first started, I was always very sort of like, well, this is my job. I get what I get, and I don't get upset. Tell my son.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how you started.
Doesn't work.
What happened?
Yeah, exactly. But then it's trying to find that line of where you have to be respectful of you need to protect your character.
You gotta stand up sometimes.
Yeah. So that's where you sort of find yourself doing. You sort of go like, wait a second, this just seems really wrong. Like I just feel like McKay would not be giving up his seat or whatever.
Yeah, those kind of things. Yeah. But you usually deal with that with the director in the moment. Yeah. It's because a lot of how it's filmed or how it's shot, where they choose to put the camera angle really does sort of give the tone of the scene. How the scene is, so it's the director that you deal with mostly, and the writers every now and then come down on set and they
trip over something. That was always their joke, was that a producer's on set because they've knocked over a light or something. It's funny. The other thing that you find in that stuff is your own personality. It's very hard to. You sort of go like, am I offended that I'm hanging upside down in a hazmat suit in the rain because I don't want to do that, or is it that because I don't? There was a great Tori and I had a moment. Where we had a scene where we all run into the puddle jumper, and so of course Joe sort of saunters in, sits down in the captain's chair or whatever they call it, and I sort of like, and then sat down beside him, and she was like, wait a sec, I'm she had a lot to. Yeah. She runs. She goes, you would give your chair up to me, and I was like, that is very true. But if I was anyone but McKay. Like anyone else, you would be totally in the right to say, give up your chair, but McKay's sitting in the front. Like, there's no way. He's not going to be at the back. Yeah. It's not, so it's fun trying to find those differences between
I know Tori had a lot of issues with that, or it was a thing for her to be a woman, to be a commander of a space station like that, to sort of, have that. Because it's everybody, a city, I know what it is. It's a space station? He thinks it's a space station?
Credibility dropping.
I thought we were on a space station. There's all the fish tanks bubbling. Isn't that what they do on the space station? That it was a lot. So it depends on the kind of character. There was a lot of back and forth, but we just had a lot of lines to learn.
Yeah, and it really is. I mean, you become your character. I had 15 minutes when I got home to lose McKay or lose my wife. It was basically the conditions. Like, she's like, no, it's the snap thing. It doesn't work at home. At home, there is physical danger involved in the snapping and the pointing. So,
Give me that. Give me the.
yeah. Yes.
Apart from at conventions and things like this, do you catch up or keep in contact with your classmates?
Do we keep in touch with our classmates?
Guiltily, I say usually it's conventions.
It's usually conventions.
Yeah.
I see Polly all the time in Vancouver. I see him at auditions.
Yeah.
We go for a beer every now and then.
I don't see anybody. Weird.
Well, who's in Toronto? Is Rainbow there?
Oh, I see Rainbow. That's true. Yeah. I run into Rainbow every so often. And when I was in LA, I would see Joe whenever I can because he had the nicest house. Can I come and play? Yeah, like beautiful play up in the hills, and it's just it was. And he's got his kids. His kids, when we first met, I thought, oh my God, what little horrors! Like just running around, knocking things over. Of course, that's what kids do at that age. And they turned into just the sweetest kids. Like we went up there and they were like, oh, here's a couple of extra Legos that we don't play with anymore. Here to the kid. Like kids don't. I don't remember kids doing that. Actually saying like, hey, you know what? You probably enjoy that more than me. Like they were just really well-adjusted, lovely kids. And
Rachel's in LA too.
Rachel, yeah, we see Rachel herself there too. It's true. Yeah. So no.
Does Jason know that you guys talk about him?
I think Jason knows everybody talks about him all the time. What?
Yeah. What?
Do you ever compete at conventions?
Compete at conventions? Like what?
Like for photos, like how many people have come and taken photos with you?
We do now.
Maybe we should look at the numbers.
I'm going to need a list. Thanks for that. Yeah, like there weren't enough issues already.
Like for push-ups, maybe?
No, please let's not do that. Oh God. No, you win. This is a donut there, maybe.
Yeah, speed to sandwiches ratio.
Hi,
Hello.
unfortunately Richard Dearson's private VIP panel was the same time as Debug showing.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be at RDA.
Tell us a bit about the movie.
Well, I could do. Here's what I'll tell you about the movie: is that we actually have a distributor here. Which, if you are interested in seeing it, this is a film Debug that has Jason in it. He's everywhere. Jason as a highly intelligent artificial intelligence.
Really? Who did the casting?
Me. It's really, honestly, it's really fun because it really isn't the way people have seen Jason. So I was sort of excited that he got to play a little bit. So, but yeah, Debug is there's a distribution company called VM Distribution. They're out of New Zealand. They're looking after New Zealand and they're looking after Australia. And so if you guys want to bother them, like just hound them, because this is what I find is the only way to get any kind of traction with these guys is to let them know that people want to see the movie.
VM Distribution?
VM Distribution. Yeah.
VM Distribution?
So you will get it. He's good. So you will get it here. It's just a matter of when. But the film is basically, it's like my little love letter to those paranoid anti-technology movies of like the 60s and 70s. Because I have this, everyone is scared of tech, maybe not you guys. The normals. They're all scared of technology, you know? And I'm scared of people. Like I trust technology far more than I trust people. So this film was basically my answer that when I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey when I was 10. My dad took me to my birthday party. I held that for 10-year-old birthday. Well, a lot of kids just like, what? Or there's a spaceship coming.
The red dot.
Yeah, that's it.
It's talking to me.
It's a trip. And I was like, what? What was that?
Your days. I just realized your birthday.
I don't know what you're talking about, Al.
She just experienced the singularity. Yeah, so basically, I was always like, why? I was like, why does everyone think the computer's bad? They were trying to kill it. So yeah, so basically there was that, and then the next film we're doing this documentary is again sort of going further with that. It's actually it's a sci-fi documentary in that it's looking into the melding of man and machine and how in the future, I hope, that handicaps will be basically rendered obsolete through technology. And this is the same technology that people are scared of. And I hate that people don't trust it, because the technology, there's nothing evil about technology.
Yeah, but what about when the robot overlords come and...
They're gonna be better at running this place than us. Anyways, and we'll be little blobby brains that control them anyways. It's like, no, seriously, it's that everyone's worried about this this singularity thing, or that somehow that there's going to be some kind of a robot apocalypse or something. That's not the problem. The problem is the people controlling them. So, like this, my little Well, that's that. It's funny being back.
That's the robot apocalypse, right there.
We're all hypnotized by our, but I love it. I think it's good. Yes, at the very back. Nice try. I shall defeat you, first row.
Most people I know didn't like the K in SG1.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
In SG1. Yeah.
I'm sorry, security?
It brought out a different character of Carter, having you there.
I brought out the best in Carter, actually.
And my favourite episode ever with the two.
Okay, that's enough of that question.
Always Under Pressure. What was it like working with Amanda?
Amanda is like, I just don't understand how Amanda can be so lovely. Like, it's just like, you're not human, are you? Speaking about robots. No, she was so, she's like a smile. She is, but she just, the room warms up. Like, and she just had a baby, and she's breastfeeding, she has to get in and out of this wave tank, and she's still just all smiles about it. Like, she's an incredibly hard worker. I give her a huge amount of credit for McKay's success because she let me play. When you come in as a guest star, if you get a wall, you don't usually the leads don't want you to not outshine. They don't want you to get to play because they want to do that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I know.
So what's your point? And so there's that. She was just so inviting and welcoming, and I did as much research as I could, but there's only so much of Gate World I could get through before we started shooting, and just helping on pronunciation and just how the whole thing worked. And she was so just incredibly lovely about it throughout.
She's directing a lot now.
And you know what? That is so perfect for her because I think honestly she's got such a wonderful combination of the technical and the art and the personality.
And great for an actor to work with.
Yeah. So.
Because you had a scene with her.
That's a question out of
Yes, I did have a scene with her. I did have a scene with her in an elevator, and it was quite wonderful, wasn't it? Yeah.
Take it away, David.
No, it was the same thing. It was. I didn't have too many scenes with her, but one afternoon in an elevator with Amanda tapping is a great way to spend the day, right? And yeah, we knocked that off in about like 2.5 hours. It was done, which is so quick for that kind of scene, and it was great. Lots of fun.
You're never waiting for Amanda. Like never.
No,
it's
no,
always.
Come having had, right? She's never not knowing her lines. She's
having had?
Like know your lines.
Oh yes, very good.
Come having had your breakfast. Yeah, right. Yeah. Knowing your lines.
I love breakfast.
Sandwiches. He's talking. I'm thinking of sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
Right over there.
There's sandwiches over there?
Is it a question for David? Okay, so that's an old joke.
Have you decided to do your documentary? Because I know you're into technology, more on the quantified stuff. So I have a Fitbit 1 and I've done 23andMe. So have you considered going down that path with documentary?
I think we will go down that route. I think that's I want to explore all aspects of this. We're going to go talk to these guys, Bionics Rex, on Tuesday. I think going to go up and see what they're up to because they've got these like robotic exoskeleton legs that, as my son calls them, they got the wrong trapezoid.
Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, but it makes there's huge differences that we just take for granted. Things like being able to talk like eye to eye with someone. Like imagine you spend the whole time,
looking up.
and it just after a while, it's got to just be so, and also just being able to get up and reach stuff that you couldn't do before, and it's not just for people who. This kid that we're working with, he had this fantastic. He's got a form of muscular dystrophy, and which is a degenerative disease. He's basically being reduced to he has a certain amount of motor function with his hands, but that's about it. And that hasn't stopped him at all. He's like I see him like this cartoon, like this graphic novel comic character where he sort of lies in bed, and now. He is the cyborg he wants to become because he lies there and he has access to the internet and the world and all this stuff. And I think there is this melding of things, of technology and humankind together. And I think, again, people are worried about privacy issues. People are worried about all these different things. They don't see that there's these this is fantastic future that can come out of this stuff if we embrace it rather than fighting it. And I think as nerds, I mean, or as a nerd, I shouldn't speak for you, but I think we're there. You know, I think we tend to either be much more trusting of the technology or much more paranoid of the technology.
I think technology is only like its application, how you use it. It's like use your powers for good, right? So it's a neutral power that can be applied either way. I mean, witness the nuclear bomb, right? I mean, it's just it's what is how it's used. I think is the issue.
Oh, completely, and we will use them incorrectly. We always do. I mean, but we fail on every regard in that way. But I think, you know, one of the things I keep coming up against is I'll talk to these research people about stuff, and they're very nervous about talking about any augmentation, about that, like, these legs don't just make, what if these legs can be used not just to make people who can't walk, they can make people who
play soccer really good.
Well, who knows? I mean, they can't right now, but I mean, you know, eventually, you know, and is there a danger to that? I mean, I'm all, like, believe me, if I could be a brain in a bucket, I'd be there. Like, you know, it's, yeah, but yeah, I want to explore all of it, so if anyone has anything's come up or contacts come up that you think I should talk to, you know, I want to make this as collective as possible to process, because
if I could be a brain in a bucket, I'd be there. I'm gonna write that one down.
That was, you know, and then I fell in love, I had a kid, stupid flesh.
Sounds a bit like you want to be a Cyberman.
That's it, yeah. They're a little controlled. I like to be the head Cyberman.
What was the hardest scene that we had to do?
That last scene, that drove me crazy then.
Oh, on the balcony?
Yeah.
I wasn't on it.
That's why I hated it so much. Oh, who's Jason? Jason was there.
Jason.
He's so dreamy.
Yeah, because, well,
I mean, it's like hard. It's like getting actors to complain. You know, it's hot in August. It's sweltering in the studios. There isn't, you know, you're wearing that kind of stuff was hard. Learning all the lines, but you know, to have a job like that, it's such a great place to work. It's such a great job to have. That despite the complaining that some of us do more than others. I'm
like a shark. If I stop complaining, I die.
Well, that's how it works.
No, it's amazing. I can complain about anything, but yeah, we were very, very fortunate. I mean, it was a show that had been on for so long. There was a system that had been in place that, you know, we got to. You forget how amazing those guys were making the show. Like, they made a show from, like, we started at like 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever. We were out there by 7 in the evening. That's unheard of in most television. Like, but most times you don't have a life at all, you know? So, yes.
So you've alluded to reading lines a few times now. Who was the worst at turning up on set, not having learned their lines?
You guys are answering it before. I think everyone's like, Jason.
Well, I mean, lines. He just had to grunt, right?
Yeah, well, but that was
what?
I always sympathize with Jason to some extent because, you know, you, like, having to, like, he would just have to jump. He's the one who had to initiate stuff. Like, I would start talking, and then if I was screwing up a line, I'd just, like, look at Jason.
What?
Exactly. And he'd respond with his next line. Like, oh God, he stopped talking. That must be my line. But we all had to, actually, honestly, I would say that the weekly guest stars were the worst.
Well, it's tough for them, right? It's tough to come in and sort of have to deal with the barrage of lines that is McKay.
Well, and how you shoot them. Like, there would be scenes, and it would say, like, you know, McKay is in the you know, control quarters, and you know, and so and so's on the ship somewhere. And they assumed that they would just be a voice over the speakers, and it's like, nah, it's not how we do it. Like, we would shoot those things for real, live together. So they would be over here, I'd be over here, and they'd shoot both sides of that conversation. And so guest doesn't show up and go like, you what? I thought I was just gonna read them into a microphone off the, you know, and it's like, no, sorry dude, you're on camera for all of that. So as you may be scrambling, like, you know, to get these pages of dialogue done.
Lines.
Yeah. Always learn your lines. Honestly, You want to know how to be an actor? Just learn your lines.
Learn your lines, show up on time, and don't bump into the furniture.
Yeah. Well, I fail on the bumping into things. A lot of bumping.
Oh, speaking of bumping into things, you know those control room, we call them the organs. There was like these desks. They had this absolutely insane feature that they were like an organ, except for they had this thing that came out right about at this height. So whenever there was an evacuation of the control room, which happened every episode, basically, you know, it was like, get out! It's like, into those
keep saying your lines.
The emasculators.
Didn't they eventually, they ended up chopping
They
off?
ended up chopping them off. Yeah, like, I mean, who thought of that design?
Yeah. And we're talking about, they chopped off the component.
Oh yeah, the component that stuck out.
A mass skeleton of some sort.
Yes.
What was your favourite scenes to play?
We already answered that question.
You know, if you just listened.
We're working.
Favorite scenes. What did you like?
I like the scene in Adrift. There was a scene that Joe and I did where we jumped over the chasm. That was a lot of fun. I think I spoke at my panel yesterday. That was really cool. We had these spacesuits on that were made off of plans on the internet. So if you ever want to build one of those things, and they were down hyper realistic. They were down to even the control panel on the chest. The letters were written in reverse, and you had a little mirror, a little flip up mirror on the back of your glove, so you could read what your that was kind of cool. And we were suspended on like marionettes on these. Were you ever on that gag?
Oh yeah, I did all those things. Except they're designed to work in 0 Gs. They're not designed to work on Earth under hot lights. Not that I complained at all.
Well, I think we benefited from your complaining because when we were doing the shooting, they gave us Formula One cooling vests. What? Yeah, we had these vests underneath it that had like these, that ran into a beer cooler.
Eventually. Yeah, that's what happens when you complain. Like we were saying, like you want to notice what your character, just whine. I'm really hot. I may have wet myself. But it could be sweat. Can I go home now? Those sandwiches?
What was your favorite scene to shoot, David?
That's a good question. What do I like?
Kissing scene.
What?
The kissing scene with Paul. And duet.
Oh yeah, kissing Paul.
Yeah, I love that. Paul, actually, I did kind of love that because Paul was so nervous. He was like so worked up about it that rehearsal, I just went for it, and it was just like it was. Yeah,
he was a little taken.
It's like having a cat on your face. It's still like. It's like it's a rehearsal.
It was so much fun to watch.
Little preamble for the little lead up, little bamboosh.
It was fun to watch that. Yeah. That was hilarious.
I like this. Anything that was not happening in a puddle jumper was my favorite scene.
Paul told us about that scene, and he said in the morning in the makeup trailer, some of the guys were going, "Someone's making out today."
Someone's making out.
That would be Jason and Joe. Momo and Jojo, as they call each other.
Jomo.
What was your opinion of the stones in the Stargate universe?
The stones in the Stargate universe.
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting problem for them to solve on a weekly basis. It's difficult because I call it the ghost issue. You know, it's the Whoopi Goldberg. No, you're actually having sex with Whoopi Goldberg right now. It's not. Yeah. It's that weird kind of. It's difficult to work around, I would say. I was wondering how they were going to carry it. I thought they did a good job. I thought the universe looked absolutely gorgeous.
Whoopi Goldberg? I'm finding your analogies really hard to follow.
Remember in Ghost, it's like he comes back and they sort of neglect to point out that you're not.
The movie was like 25 years ago.
I know, but it's still as real today.
I don't remember that.
No, but there's this scene.
Sex with Whoopi Goldberg?
Do you guys want to go around?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this scene where they get together because he's a ghost.
All right, I know what I'm renting.
Whoopi Goldberg's body, and then all of a sudden there he is back all handsome with his little mullet, and then I kept going like, whoa, he's making out with Whoopi Goldberg. That's the issue you get with the stones.
No. Are we on that?
We've moved on.
Okay. I'm complicating matters, aren't I?
But yeah, I think the hardest, the biggest problem that SGU had was that there was Stargate in front of it, because it's a great show, but it's very different than the Stargates that came up. Like, it was beautifully acted, it's beautifully written, it's beautifully designed show.
It's a different DNA.
It's a different world. Yeah, I mean and I think. And we benefited.
Humor was missing from it, I think.
Well, that got in there. I mean, there was. Oh, I was there. There was. I think.
I must have missed that part. But anyways, yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? Like the sense of humor in Stargate Atlantis and in SG-1. There's always that flip comment sort of thing. They didn't have that anymore.
It was definitely a more serious show. But it's. I think what we benefit from the fact that SG-1 and Atlantis were on together. So we didn't threaten them. In fact, when we came on, their ratings went up.
That's not what they thought, though.
You know? What?
That's not what they thought.
What?
That's not what they thought.
They were, just because you say it louder doesn't make it true.
No, they were. I mean, it was like we were the upstart. We were the second show coming in. So there was always sort of like this.
Well, yes. I mean, there's a certain weirdness to that.
What I'm referring to.
But in reality, it was very quickly apparent that they benefited from that, and we benefited from that. I always said we were a complementary show to SG-1. We weren't there as a replacement, but that's not. I was not told we were going to replace SG-1. I mean, that was they were going to run SG-1 as long as SG-1 could run. But SGU, because it was such a whole new sort of reboot in a way,
and because we were canceled,
it was there was more than just there was some stuff going on there. I think there was there was some politics coming to play in that as well. But so I think they suffered from the wrath of the original Stargate fans, and it's a beautiful show. It is not the show you sit down and watch with your entire family. Maybe that's the difference. Huh? You can't ask another question.
But you love me.
No, it's fine.
I have a separate question for each of you. David, would you like to tell us a bit about State of Sin? And David, would you like to tell us, without being overly spoiler-ish, about your 2 episodes of Supernatural?
Sorry. Supernatural, right, that one. I thought Stargate was a big fan of. Holy mackerel. I had no idea. Supernatural. We were shooting at about 1:30 in the morning in a very quiet suburb of Vancouver called Westminster. Everybody's asleep, and we were doing a scene in the kitchen. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. A certain thing is happening in the kitchen between 2 people. And I get on set, and there's this group of people there, and I thought, I had no idea that there's going to be extras in this scene. They were not extras, they were fans, hanging out on set at 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to get a glimpse of Jensen and Dean. So when I saw that, I sort of go, okay, I see what this is all about. Great. I mean, they started when we started. They started in 04, 05, and they're still running. It's 10 years. It's 10 years for Supernatural. Yeah. See, that's what happens when a show's not canceled.
They look better and talk less.
Is that it? Is that the secret? Oh, okay. So, real treat, 2 episodes, lots of fun. Just aired like a couple weeks ago, or just a few days ago, as far as I can tell.
We've seen it here.
You saw it here. Well, then if it's here, then it's everywhere.
You can spy out anything.
You can spy out anything. Yep. First episode of season 10, and the third episode.
See that on camera.
And third episode of season 10.
Still 2 minutes, guys.
2 minutes, guys, and that's perfect timing, Mr. Hewlett.
Citizen is a webcomic. It's like an animated webcomic that I did, which would end up being like a Stargate reunion. There was like Tori and Rainbow involved, and
you worked with everybody else, weren't you?
You were very far away on the West Coast.
Any chance I get to rub it in.
Yeah, he does. And it was just as a nerd, I love that stuff. Like just the fact that it was a new way of telling a story and stuff. And I think in hindsight, looking at it now, I talked to the guys who did it, and they were saying like, we would just shoot a lot more video next time instead of trying to animate all these different photos. It was just like a fun. They could do things that you'd never be able to do. It was like they created this entire world and this I never could say that. Not synthetic. No, I know that one. Synesthesia. That's it. Thank you very much. So it was just an interesting concept that I don't think you could have done any other way. It would be too expensive. It would be like a $500 million movie if you tried to do that any other way. So, and I just, again, any chance to sort of geek out with new storytelling techniques and stuff, I'm there. So it was just really fun. Then I got to go to Cannes for this TV festival and digital festival to
I
show
gotta go to
around,
the Cannes too, so yeah.
So yeah, and I have no idea what's going to happen with that, but it's it's out there. Have a look. It's sort of interesting. So.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
It's awesome.
Maybe one more question. Is that very good? All right, choose wisely. Go.
Choose wisely. Right there.
What was it like doing your own stunts?
Yeah, we did all of our own stunts. Did all of them.
That was actually him.
They don't count that as a stunt. I personally count that as a stunt.
They didn't count that as a stunt?
No.
They don't like it. Bam Bam was a great stunt coordinator. Did the one where I'm clawing through the ducting and I'm falling off the thing? That was a great one. It's called The Cowboy. I was crouching behind the sofa. The stuntman takes the fall, and I get up. Oh, that really hurt.
I feel so guilty too. That's on Planet of the Apes, same thing, where they do this guy does this huge roll down a hill in the garden, and then I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's like he does all the work.
And you feel guilty, and then they applaud you.
Yeah.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Great job.
Amazing job.
And the guy's like,
There was I walked into a bar at the end of a shoot once, and this the old stunt guy with like a cowboy hat and like a limp and grizzly beard. He goes, hey,
over the eye.
You do my lines. I thought that was just like a perfect. That is the stunt community to a T.
Yeah, unsung heroes. Yeah.
Quickly, she had a question, and it's
okay.
Yeah,
you have a question.
It better be a good one.
Mine's for David Nykll.
Yes,
you suck.
It is a good question.
I got it for you. How could you?
Go ahead, ask it. Don't ignore the man that thought.
Since nothing's impossible in Supernatural, if you could come back in Supernatural, what would you come back as?
McKay.
Well, what can you come back as in Supernatural?
Like demon.
Okay, a demon. That's what I want to come back as.
He's pretty close already.
Then you get a little
A lesser demon.
A monster with a mustache.
That was a great last question.
That was a terrific one. You guys have been great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.